And it's like, some people say that I'm not a real boxing fan if I don't like Shakur Stevenson, because Shakur Stevenson is real boxing. But we got examples of actual, you know, great boxers. We don't even have to look that far back. And, for example, Terrence Crawford versus Spence. We saw an incredible display of technique, incredible display of boxing. Um, but it wasn't boring. So it's like they're trying to sell you this thing um, in a way that makes you seem like you're ignorant. But I'm not dumb, dude. I've seen it before. I've seen greatness before. Um, and it just doesn't look like Shakur Stevenson to me, personally. Um, but I think it's a weak argument. It's an old argument. It's an argument that used to work for Floyd Mayweather, and they're just recycling the same talking points. And to be honest, it's not working anymore. I think people are starting to see through the illusions um, that they're trying to push, and this whole argument that you have to be this connoisseur to understand real boxing, is stupid. Um, in my opinion, I was watching an interview, um, and this guy was talking about in music. All right, in music, there's always two types of people. There's the guys that know more, right? And meaning they know more things. Um, they know more notes, they know more chords, they know more, whatever. They have more knowledge of music. Um, and usually these guys are classically trained, classical music, classical way of playing guitar or whatever, piano. And then there's the self-taught people, or the people that are more, their way of playing is more passed down through generations, as like their grandfather taught them, or they were influenced by somebody from the past, and they picked up a guitar and they learned, by ear and by passed down knowledge. And those guys usually become more popular in the mainstream media than the guys that went to, some special school to learn something. Well, from at least from my experience. And in that interview, this guy kind of said something that made me think about that as well. You know, and they asked him, "What does it take to be a good, interpreter of music, a good musician?" And he said, "It's the voice, right? It's the tone of the voice. It has nothing to do with the lyrics, or well, it does have to do with the lyrics, but what he was specifically saying is that um, you have to express yourself through your art, through your art form, in a way that the people don't need any study to understand that this is art. You know, he said people aren't gonna go take a class on music theory in order to understand your masterpiece. You have to express yourself in a way that the people would understand it. The masses will understand your music, and that's why a lot of times, we kind of lean towards the blues players and the people that learn how to play in the bayous and in the streets of wherever in the country. Um, kind of like the song "Way Down in Louisiana, back in New Orleans." And it's talking about a country guy who learned how to play the guitar. I mean, he didn't necessarily go to no um, um, crazy, classical school to learn everything he knows, but he just knows how to express himself through the guitar, you know, and that is more valuable than someone who is stuck up and he says, "Oh, you just don't understand my music because it's too classical, it's too, um, it's too good for you." And historically we see that it's not just what this guy said about the voice and the tone of the voice, the way you say the words. It's universally we do gravitate towards more simple players, more simple songs. Um, some of the more complex stuff doesn't necessarily attract the masses that much. And it's not necessarily to say that um, Shakur Stevenson is this classical player, because in my opinion he's very basic. He's just doing it at a high level, and he's using his athletic ability to do these things. Um, but my thing is, it goes to the same point, because if the people don't understand it and they don't like it, then it's in the artist's responsibility to um, find a way to bring that to the people. It's not the people's responsibility, the consumer's responsibility, to study up on boxing, or study up on, like I said, musical theory. And yeah, I do believe the rules need to change, because not necessarily, the clinching, but just something that makes for more action. You know, if you look at the pace that the guys from the past used to have, like the Hagglers, um, the Durans, the Leonards, all of these guys, the pace was just higher back then. And I wouldn't be surprised if the rules changed through the years in order to accommodate for certain types of fighters over others. It would not surprise me one bit. But yeah, for sure, the rules definitely need to change to promote more action and more punches being thrown. And that's the only way we're going to see who really the best of the best are. Um, but right now, it just seems like the way the rules are right now, accommodating for certain types of fighters that don't really promote action, we're going to continue to see this style, you know, continue to grow, the Shakur Stevenson style. And talking about Jack Dempsey again, I like to talk about Jack Dempsey a lot, because I think we're living in another era, the same as Jack Dempsey's era, to where a lot of people are teaching kids how to survive and how to defend, but not necessarily how to punch. And that's why a lot of these young boxers today, they're having a lot of hand injuries. And that the same thing was happening during Jack Dempsey's era. A lot of boxers were having a lot of hand injuries because they didn't know how to punch. They knew how to move away from the danger, and fights were just not that attractive anymore. And Jack Dempsey was like, we need to stop teaching kids how to move around so much and start teaching them how to punch, because for various reasons we're not selling enough tickets. And number two, I think he said people were getting injured, their hands were getting injured way too much. That's because they weren't being taught how to punch. They were just being taught how to escape the danger zone and stay out of the punch zone. That's another epidemic that's in boxing. When people start saying, "Oh, you can't give an opinion because you haven't boxed before," man, get the fuck out of here. Do you know that the main people that matter, their opinion matters the most, is the people that have never boxed before? Because Because if it was just you guys, just the Andre Wards and the Terrence Crawfords giving their opinions, it'll be a circle jerk. Just a bunch of self-righteous, pretentious ex-boxers and the new boxers just jerking each other off. Yeah, you're doing a good job, buddy. There you go. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, I'm gonna give my opinion, regardless if I lace them up or not, because my opinion is the one that matters. The public, the people, is the ones that matters. And that, that same argument is used. That they're flaunting of their I guess credentials or their license to box is flaunted at people, a lot. And it's because they overvalue what they do. And I'm not saying it's not valuable, but you got to understand you're in the entertainment realm. You're an entertainer at the end of the day. Yes, you're risking your life, and that's another one that they use. It's like, we risk our lives in there, and they keep saying that, like, for everything, by the way, for every argument, they use that. Like, I was talking about Ryan Garcia and the exaggeration of making it a big deal that he used drugs, which it is a big deal, but at the same time, if you knew how many people in boxing were in drugs, doing some type of PEDs, you'd be like, yeah, I knew that. And you look at the hypocrisy in boxing when they act like this is the first guy, Ryan Garcia, that did it. And then they start saying, the same thing, which is these boxers risk their lives, and you bring in PEDs into it, no, or something like that. I don't know. It's some shit they do with the whole risk your lives, right? But it's like, number one, bro, if it was up to me, you'd all be on something, especially Shakur. Shakur needs coke. He needs cocaine, because that'll get him going. That'll get him throwing some punches. You know what I mean? Because right now it's like somebody gave him NyQuil in there, bro. Like, somebody gave us NyQuil watching the fight. But some guy online was like, he said they ducking the smoke from Shakur, and I was like, that ain't smoke, that's sleeping gas. That's sleeping gas, bro. That's what they're ducking, bro. They're ducking that sleeping gas. Nah. But anyways. I need to give me a new chair, by the way. This one's cracking too much. Yeah, they always bring back the fact that they made the decision to box like it's my fault. Like, or we're talking about trainers. And there's an argument that I have with this one guy who's always bringing up his credentials. Like I said, like, Americans, they're obsessed with credentials, with licensing and all this kind of stuff. That's why you saw Devin Haney do all that lawyer shit, because that's how Americans, classically act. But yeah, I was in an argument with this guy, and this is a very common argument, especially nowadays, which it used to not be that way. People just did it back in the days, and some other countries as well. But this guy was saying that, getting to my point is, he was saying that in order for you to be a trainer, you have to have boxed, right? It is imperative for that guy. It's very important that you, at one point or another, were a boxer and boxed. Okay. Now, I don't believe that. And the reason I don't believe that is because the proof is in the records. Like, most of our best trainers never laced them up. And some of the people that became world champions were trained, or legends rather, were trained by somebody who was not a professional boxer. You know, there's a lot of examples, but one of the ones that recently, because the examples come all the time, but the one that I recently, remembered was Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey, he didn't have one trainer, number one, but the first person who taught him was his brother. And there's nothing on the record that said his brother was a professional Golden Gloves winner, black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu at 14 down of the second half of the century 44. He didn't have all those credentials. It's just his brother. And with that few little bit of knowledge, the guy took to the streets and started to punch people and do it for a couple of bucks. Then people caught the eye of people that were actually boxing. But by that time, he had already learned from a lot more coaches and a lot more boxers, so he knew way more. But the person that got him started in his journey was his brother. But that kind of stuff, slows you down to be thinking about black belts and red belts and boxing has a little bit more of a stake to claim for it because they have to actually box. They have to actually um, brush shoulders with other guys. But for example, in Mexico, people don't even care about amateur careers. They just, you know, they're like, fuck it. We're just gonna start you off at the age of 13. You're gonna lie about your age. You're gonna be fighting people that are way more experienced than you, that have had way more fights than you, that already got their man strength in. And we're gonna see if you survive. Then hey, congratulations, you're a boxer. If you don't, then this wasn't meant for you, bro. It's plain and simple. We're not gonna do it like, you know, maybe, maybe if we do this, maybe if we change the rules a little bit for these guys, and make it to where not every punch counts. Mess with the CompuBucks a little bit later on in life. Maybe we could create an illusion that we have another Mayweather, you know. But um, it's just different, man. It's different mentalities, um, and that's what I wanted to talk about too today. Is like we gotta change our mentality when it comes to boxing. We have to have the element of fucking, which is the main ingredients in my opinion. And you want to be a fighter. The main ingredients is not guarantees. Because that's the way I see American boxing is people that want guarantees. They want guarantees that they're going to get a certain amount of money. They want guarantees that they want to get, the right ring size, the right gloves. They want guarantees that the ref's going to be on his side. They want guarantees that one of the judges is going to, be on his side. They want so many guarantees. Dental plan, all kinds of shit. Bring me 3 Ferraris or something. So what did Tank say to Turkey? um, that's what we're like here. But in Mexico, they have an element called fuck it. That's what they have. And that's what I want us to have. Some people be like, "Oh, if you don't have no Asian letters in your background, don't talk to me." You know, that's an American thing. It's not really. Well, I mean, Asians are like that too, but not as much as you know as we are here. Um, but Mexicans have a certain level of, like I said, a fuck it, meaning maybe you do have the ref on your side. Maybe you got a judge or two on your side. The crowd's definitely on your side because I could hear them screaming your name. You're taller, you're faster, You know, you have longer reach than me. You even look better than me. You know. Um, but you know, fuck it. We're just gonna go for it, and we're going to get the win, regardless. And if we don't get the win, people are gonna remember who we are because of the way we fought. You know, and that is something that I don't see in American boxing. I see the opposite of that. I see people searching for guarantees and not wanting to go up abroad to fight, you know, which is the opposite of the Mexican fighter. Um, if that just sounds weak to me, you know, it just sounds like somebody who just wants all the guarantees that they're going to win, and winning is everything to that person. But as you can see with Shakur, obviously, winning isn't everything, and staying undefeated isn't everything either. You know, just look at you know, I think I've said it before. You look at Mike Tyson, he could walk in the streets by himself, and he had a couple of losses, but nobody's gonna snatch Mike Tyson's hat and start running around, and then everybody makes fun of him online because you know he's bald. You know that's not gonna happen to Mike. But the thing is, it's like boxing has been so watered down and made to accommodate to certain types of fighters. You know, because if you look at, if you go down through time, we could see that classically and historically, the pressure fighter beats the pure boxer, or the quote unquote pure boxer, like Shakur Stevenson. But only recently, and I'm talking about very recently, early 2000s, with Floyd Mayweather, you know, have we seen the rise of the pure boxer? You know, and mind you, I'm not saying that Floyd Mayweather was fabricated, but he did get a lot of help. He got a lot of help. You know, from his inception when he first got his first title shot. Like, people don't get that, bro. They just don't get that with Genaro Hernandez, who was already old. Like, that was set up, bro. So from that moment on, you knew that Mayweather had a helping hand somewhere in the background of the shadows of the gnome. I forgot the lyrics to that song, by the way. I was gonna start singing it, but anyways, um, yeah, it's like they've been trying to push that style, and because they've been trying to push that style, you could see the fingerprints of them helping out these types of fighters to win against the quote unquote pressure fighter, or you know, the caveman, the wild man. But historically, you know, you go back to Rocky Marciano, you know, he would beat all of the pure boxers that he ever faced. Um, you know, Jack Dempsey, you know, whooped a lot of them. Um, you know, Duran, you know, he won the first one against Sugar Ray Leonard, but then on the second one, they kind of fixed the fight, bro. It's just, for me, it's clear to see that historically, pressure fighters win the first match, and then they immediately try to get it again, but this time they know how to manipulate the situation. You know, it happened to Frazier versus Ali, but Frazier versus Ali was a little bit. Um, Listen, bro. Let me just put it like this: all the things that I've mentioned, like refs, judges, ring size, glove size, where is it going to take place? All of that stuff can be manipulated to help somebody or hurt somebody. And even the weight clogs, the weight drainage, all of that can be used as well to beat somebody. That's the reason why boxing has been so watered down, to where it's not even about who's the better man. It's about who's the better man on that night, um, and who can manipulate all of these things that I just mentioned in order to win. When back in the day, it didn't used to be like that. It used to be like, okay, you challenged me. It doesn't even matter what weight you are. We're just gonna fight, and that weeded out a lot of the weaklings. Um, most of the boxers today, they wouldn't even make it out of the gym trials, bro. Like straight up, Shakur Stevenson, I am looking at you, bro. They bully guys like that. Now, like I said, just people in general are just weaker. Um, I heard supposedly that Tank Davis was supposed to be challenging Floyd Mayweather. And when I heard that, I was like, bro. I mean, let me know in the comments who do you guys think would win that fight between Floyd Mayweather and not Shakur, damn, Tank Davis. Did I say Tank Davis? I hope I said Tank Davis before. But yeah, guys, who you guys think would win that fight? I think that I think people are getting weaker. That's one thing. They also complain a lot more about everything. You see, Shakur's over here going crazy. And people are like, "Oh, you're being too hard on him." It's like, bro, he gets paid so much. Like, I don't feel sorry for him, and I don't really care. We just don't want that product. That's just basically what it is. But when it comes to Mayweather versus Tank, man, I think Mayweather has a chance, to be honest with you, because it's just like I said, the levels, it's generationally levels go down because to keep the illusion going, guys, they have to manipulate the rules and manipulate the system in order to for us to look at greater fighters. Like we could, oh yes, this guy's so great. But if we look like one generation removed, 2 generations, 3 generations, we start realizing that boxing ain't the same, bro. It's not even close. The activity level. Look at any of the fights from Duran to Leonard to Hagler. All of these guys have great fights. And you look at the pace of these fights, and then you look at this guy, who's the best of this generation, supposedly, and you're like, what the fuck is happening, dude? And like, it's obvious that you're selling me shit because I've seen what greatness looks like. I've seen it before. So it's like, bro, like, come on. And then you telling me this guy as the second coming of Mayweather, and it's like, first of all, Mayweather's still alive, number one. Um, and number two, I remember Mayweather used to bum rush people, bro. Like people don't remember. He used to literally go out there with his chin out, bro, and just swing, just come out swinging, dude. Like I remember that shit. I was like, what? And people say this guy runs how, bro? You think I'm playing, bro? I wish I could make a highlight reel of Mayweather just going out there swinging at people, dude. And he would shut up and fight. He was like, shut the fuck up and fight. Like he told somebody that. I forgot who it was. That was complaining about headbutts or something. And he was like, shut the fuck up and fight. Hey man, nah, bro. We getting weaker. We getting softer. That's facts, bro. Like most of these guys are on Twitter 24/7. You know, I don't know. But that's my take, guys. I think we need to infuse the psyche of American boxing with the element of fucking. And that's my opinion.